Welcome back to Les Schwab Tire Center's Outdoor GPS. It's time for Owin's Field Report, sponsored by Les Schwab Tire Centers.
Well, I wish I had a positive field report, and we're going to get to fish counts here in just a little bit. I wish I had a positive report to share. Now, these are all, the reports that I got yesterday are others. Most of them trying to, rub it in that they're fishing and I wasn't. But overall, really, really slow. And it doesn't matter. Well, let's see. Let me say this. So for 3 different river systems along the coast and 2 here that are relatively close to home and 1 that's very much north of us, right? So 5 or 6 different reports that I got yesterday via text and phone call. One in particular was, dude, what am I doing wrong? What can I do? I can't get bit. I can't do it. Nothing, man. It's like hunting ducks. You can't take ducks if they're not flying. Okay? And that might be the situation that a lot of us are running into when we're out chasing steelhead, especially this week after we had that high water event. We all would have expected to see a big push of fish kind of show up. Now, that never really happened after that water dropped back down. But the optimist in me is, well, they just didn't want to come across the bar because the ocean was massive the last couple of weeks, so we're going to get a late push. Well, living in La La Land is sometimes fun, but not always productive. In the end, it's just you're going to have to grind it out. It has just not been good. Again, the coast has been slow. Locally, it's been slow. I talked to a couple of different guides yesterday that are about ready to switch gears early and start getting prepared for their spring Chinook season, just because it's been so tough. When folks are going out, just regular dudes like myself or people on guided trips, and you're seeing one fish here, one fish there, it can get taxing, right? It can be very disappointing. So in the end, myself, I'm grinding it out for a couple of reasons. My sled isn't going to be here for probably 3 weeks or so, and I'm drift boat bound, and I'm good with it. I'm just hoping that by the time we get to the end of March, that first week of April, before they close the Columbia down, that things turn positive for chasing some springers around. But you can't catch that early springer if you don't try. The conditions, which we will get to in a second, on the Willamette and the Columbia are going to be really, really good. But we'll get there in a second. Fish counts, though, just like yesterday, as always, though, the Willamette doesn't typically update. So no fish over that. Taking a look at Bonneville, we'll see what happened on the first. Nothing. They haven't updated. Really? Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, I would have thought it would have been updated already this morning, but no fish. So, and that's the way it normally is. There's literally nothing wrong here, but we're going to keep you apprised of what's going on real time. Moving along to the river levels, we'll go through these quickly. Nothing's really changed since yesterday. Of course, the Columbia is dropping. High tides are in the 7s, lows are in the 5s. Anywhere in this zone, you're looking pretty good if you're going to be out on the Columbia if you want to chase them early. Either trolling, if that's what you want to do. Water temperatures really aren't all that cold. I want to say the last time I looked, which was a week ago, well, it's completely different now, aren't, horrible. If you're going to get on the anchor or if you're going to troll, it's early season. You got to put your time in, and you all know that sometimes it takes a lot of time. But you could get lucky, right? Got to be always the optimist. Same thing with the Willamette. It's dropping. It's still brown. That's for sure. Looking at the smaller rivers, everything is in really good levels, right? Conditions are pretty optimal on all the river systems. Moving into the coast, the same thing. All these rivers, no matter where they are, you really can't ask for better conditions, better levels. Just put your baits where the fish should be, and hopefully if they're there, they bite. I mean, it's just been tough. There's a lot of things kind of working against us, but these are all working for us. Our excuses, at least my excuses, I'll go that way. My excuses are starting to run out. It's just that simple. Of course, though, you want to have yourself some good scent. I can promise you that the majority of success that I've had this year, which is limited, but had some success so far, scent has been part of it. Send Jason an email at procure.com, and you'll have an opportunity to win this week's prize pack. And just because we have to, it seems like you have to enter in each week in order to be able to win that prize pack. Now, weather. I think it's a really good forecast. At least the weather forecast from Peyton yesterday was beautiful. A little bit of rain, some sun breaks throughout the week, which isn't really going to do anything to our rivers, which is nice. But we'll see what we can expect in the end as far as the amount of rain that's coming. And hopefully we're going to have some mountain snow as well up there. So, Peyton, it's been an interesting couple of weeks for you, but how's this week look as we go forward?
Yeah, we've had a little bit of everything, Owen. But no, a little showery this morning. I will say the area of low pressure we're tracking isn't a super strong one, and so I think our shower chances are quickly dwindling the closer we get to about that noon time frame. We have an area of low pressure over kind of the coastline. That's exactly what's causing our showers today. We'll have a lull on Monday. I think a lot of us will stay dry, and then another one actually arrives on Tuesday. So this is a live look at radar. I mean, there's really not much going on. Just in the last hour or so, we've finally seen these showers reach the metro and portions of the gorge as well. So not everybody's seeing rain all the time this morning, and I think that's good. You could still get out and enjoy yourself, but just definitely don't be surprised if you run into a stray shower until about the early afternoon. By this evening, and this is our graph model here showing really nothing. I think we'll actually see some peaks of sunshine a little later on today just before sunset, and then also our highs are going to be around 10 degrees cooler than yesterday. Most of us in the mid-50s, right where we should be this time of year. So actually the next week or so is going to be pretty on trend with how early March should be. I mentioned Monday mainly dry. I'll show you Tuesday though. This is our next system that comes in. It does look to maybe move a little faster than what we're seeing this morning with this system. So yeah, some showers in the late morning and to the early afternoon. All in all, not going to be a washout. So we're not expecting anything like last weekend. Our rain total's around 1/10 of an inch, and then maybe with that Tuesday system, we could get a little closer to 1/4 of an inch. Our highest rain total is going to be on those western-facing slopes. And if you're wondering about Cascade snow, 1 to 3 inches today. I think maybe 1 to 2 on Tuesday, but because that system's moving so fast, it's not going to dump a lot of snow. A few showers Wednesday, mainly in the mountains again, and then we'll be drying out the second half of the week. I think Thursday, Friday look really nice with highs in the mid-50s, Owen, sunshine, after just a few little, stray showers through the week.
I'm looking forward to it. It'll be a nice week to be out. Hopefully everybody else can get out and have some fun as well, and maybe you can as well.
Yeah.
Peyton, I hope you have a great week.
Thanks.
All right, let's go ahead and talk to Tom. He's from Southeast Portland. He's got a report from yesterday. Tom, you don't have to mention rivers or rocks that you were standing on, but how'd things go for you? What did you see?
I saw some excellent fishing, Owen, that I haven't seen in probably 10 years in the river. The graphs were just loaded with the fish in the hole. You could park anywhere you want. I was in the Selwood area. I'll tell you where I'm at. I don't care. But that was just any hole you poked your nose in, especially if you stuck your nose in that main channel, if you know where it's at. They were just anywhere from the bottom and up to 6-8 feet off the ground as the tide started. As the tide started getting towards the outgoing first 2 hours, they sat down on the bottom, and it was bite on. Sand shrimp and worms were just the ticket. We caught them. The smallest one we got was 24 inches. The largest one I put in the boat was 59 inches, and we had to leave the rope to go get it. It just took me right down the river. It was the most satisfying I've had in a long time with sturgeon. And if you want to take a child down, now is the time. There's not much debris in the river. The turbidity is about 20, and those fish are stacked in the river. There's my report.
Tom, I love you, man. Changing gears, talking about something a little bit more positive. Chasing, catch, and release sturgeon on the Willamette. Yep. Absolutely one of the most underutilized fisheries because for whatever reason here in the Northwest, we want to eat everything, but you just can't. But you can have a ton of fun chasing them. Tom, great report. It hadn't even crossed my mind. I've been so focused on steelhead. This is one of our favorite times to chase sturgeon on the Willamette. Was there anybody else out there fishing them, Tom, or were you by yourself?
I saw 2 other boats, both of them traveling up and down the river, but me and my friend were just in that area because I know it because of the years I've lived here. And this time of year, those fish come in from the Columbia because that water is about 6 degrees warmer right now than the Columbia is, and they're stacking in the river, and it is fun.
Very, very cool.
If you want to go have some fun with your children. And man, take along the gear to get off the rope because what happened to us yesterday, he goes, this is the first time I've ever had to drop off rope to go chase one. I go, this time of year, they're there, and they will take that bait. And it did, man. It was the last fish of the day. And literally, I am sitting on a heating pad, my back. I'm 70 years old, and my back is killing me after that fish. So
I get it, man. Those things pull hard, especially in cold water, huh? I mean,
you bet. They are, yeah. It's like having your dream salmon on, except it takes you 10 times as long because you only got 60-pound tests, and I put the fish well over 80 pounds. pounds. I mean, I've got cuts on my hands from the scoots that are so sharp because they're so fresh.
Yeah,
so fresh.
Very, very cool.
So,
Thanks, Tom.
Well, thank you, Owen. You
Yeah.
have a nice Sunday, and God bless your show. We'll talk to you later.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you, sir. The great report. We appreciate anything positive like that's fantastic, and it's a fishery that a lot of people overlook, myself included. Stefan is from Portland, and it looks like he's got a story about a 49-pound Chinook. Quickly, Stefan, a 49-pound Chinook. Now, in my lifetime, I've seen a handful of fish that were larger than that. My largest Chinook was actually 52 pounds that came off the coast, Wilson in particular. But what's the story you have for everyone?
Well, my ex-father-in-law and his son, they drive out from Minnesota a couple times a year, and everyone picked me up, and we drove down toward the coast. We were fishing some of the coastal rivers, and then on the way back, he pulled off the side of the road, and we walked across some open land, and we had fishing waders, so we waded across the Nehalem, which wasn't very deep, and got on the other side. And we were all using trout rods with 8-pound Maxima with that same Maxima leader and fishing spawn bags. And we were there for about a half an hour, and I hooked into a fish, and it took the three of us 3.5 hours to land that fish because of the size of the rods and the line. And I picked it up to my chest. I got its head up, and it was still on the ground a foot. And he had a scale with him that goes up to like 50, 60 pounds. So he picked it up and weighed it. It weighed 49.5 pounds. It was a bright spring Chinook.
On a trout rod and 8-pound line.
Yeah, 8-pound test Maxima with the 8-pound test leader.
That would be, you might as well have just done the Barbie rods challenge, right? I mean, seriously, that had to have taken a while, and you're very lucky that you were able to land that fish and take home a bright one. And if it's a bright fish over there on a smaller system like he's referring, that must have been a rodeo of such. Stefan, thank you for the story, sir. We appreciate it. Last question, though, because I have to cut away. I'm already getting yelled at here. What year was that? Do you remember?
Yeah, it was like 1974. I was
1974.
Just about turning 24 when I got that.
Gotcha.
And it took the three of us 3.5 hours to get that thing.
Good God, I can imagine. Stefan, thank you, sir. Hopefully someday we can all run across one of those things again. All right, we're going to cut to a break. When we come back, I've got Austin Mosier from Austin's Northwest Adventures. We're primarily going to talk a little bit about walleye over on the east side of Washington, but I've got to talk to him about some of those 25, 26, 27-pound triploids that he's been catching this past week. Maybe a good question would be, well, why would you go after walleye at that time of year? We'll be right back.
Outdoor GPS is brought to you by P-Line, because we fish, by Hawken Fishing, perfection in fishing gear, and by Haxton's Canvas and Upholstery, the trusted name of the Pacific Northwest.
Nobody enjoys the outdoors more than I do. And these are what gets me there. Les Schwab offers a free pre-trip safety inspection. How does this help the average customer that comes in?
We call it our safety status check, and every vehicle that comes into our shop is going to get one.
Big thanks to Les Schwab for your continued support and sponsorship of Outdoor GPS, and I look forward to many years of more adventures on your tires.